Hey everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Foundation First Fitness Show with Bob Echo. Today we are going to be discussing soft tissue work. Now, soft tissue work is a term that gets used interchangeably with self-myofascial release, foam rolling, and tissue care and tissue health. So all these terms basically mean the same thing. So if you hear them, don't be kind of confused. They all mean the same thing. People just prefer using a specific term, but again, same thing. What you are trying to do with this and the benefits that you're trying to get and the goal with this is to try to mimic what a massage therapist is doing. We're not going to be able to replace it completely, but what we are trying to do is help kind of bridge that gap between our sessions with the massage therapist. So what I mean by that is when we go to see massage therapists, we're generally trying to get these knots worked out or the tension released in our body. And what was happening is with athletes, it was very much the same thing. And that's where this all really started to come about and where it became very popular to do that kind of self-treatment. What ended up happening with them was that all of these athletes wanted to come in and get a treatment done before a game or before a session, before a workout, before practices, whatever. And what they were doing is they were going to see the massage therapist. Now, it's fine when there's one or two, but when there's 50 athletes, it's not very practical. It's not very cost efficient to have that many therapists on staff. So teams needed to find a way to replicate what they were doing because there were benefits. They wanted to get those benefits. How are they able to do them on the grand scale? How are they able to do them on the road? In comes foam rolling and all the other tools that we use, and then I'm going to be talking about. So a lot of people, I often get asked the same thing, which is, isn't this just for athletes? No, it isn't. This is something that everyone can benefit from, and I think everyone should be doing on a regular basis to benefit from, and here's why. Soft tissue work is something that's going to be able to help you last longer in your day. What I mean by that is it's going to allow you to avoid all that like back pain, shoulder pain, calf pain, not completely and not entirely, and it may be something else that's causing that, but for the majority of you, it's definitely going to help. And so what ends up leading to these issues is that a lot of us spend time in one position, whether we spend time sitting at a desk typing or we spend a lot of time standing or walking, driving a car, something that's either going to be causing us to feel stressed when we're in a specific position or under stress walking and doing a lot of repetitive movements. That is one time or one case where you would really want to do this and use these tools to help you. The other would be if you're an athlete or if you're a regular gym goer and you go to the gym and you train, when you're overloading the body with basically using weights and causing these tears to occur and causing this scar tissue to happen. So that brings me to our tissue side of things. What's actually happening on the tissue level? So to not to get too deep into it, but basically what's going on is we've got these different layers of tissue, and what's happening is they're getting all stuck together. To avoid that from causing problems and preventing our body from moving properly, we use these tools to help break that apart and allow it to move smoothly. When there's scar tissue, which is something basically that occurs after we've done working out or we do something for a long period of time and cause a tear, when our body goes to heal it, it doesn't always heal properly. So we need to break that apart to allow the muscles to contract and relax smoothly. These tools will help do that. Using different techniques and using the techniques properly, your body will actually start feeling significantly better if you do this on a regular basis. So what I wanted to talk about next was the tools. The main tool, the big one that really came on the scene early on was this guy here, the foam roller. For most of you that are seeing this right now on YouTube, basically it's a hollow tube it is basically a PVC pipe wrapped in foam. This is a kind of a newer type of roller that's been used. More commonly seen are the dense foam rollers. This one's 12 inches. They go all the way up to 3 inches, but I would not get it. I would not get a 3 foot. I would not get a 3-footer. I would stick to the 12 inches. It's more than enough. You don't need anything longer. Trust me, it's not worth it. Unless you're using it for stability, which is a totally different discussion. If you're not, this is all you need. Now, the benefits for this one is that you're going to be using them for the big muscles, whether it be the lats. I love how we started with lats, quads, hamstrings, glutes. You won't really use them for your hamstrings, but we'll talk about that in another segment. But The big muscles are basically going to be treated with this one here. To get the smaller muscles, the next one we're going to be talking about is the ball. So basically lacrosse ball, softball, baseball, golf ball, anything that's kind of a little bit more firm, that's going to be able to get into those tight knotted areas. Anything that you're going to be able to use to get to that, like shoulder blade, calf, piriformis, which is a muscle that's kind of the one that leads to that, for many of you, leads to that kind of sciatic pain that you're feeling. This is going to be the tool that you're going to be using to get rid of that. The third one that is probably the least common out of these three is a stick roller, which is basically like a rolling pin that allows you to apply the pressure yourselves. Now, what a benefit is of this is that it's a lot easier to use, in the sense that you don't have to lie and kind of maneuver yourself and kind of reconfigure yourself and pull. A lot of people find that it's a little bit awkward, especially at the start, and especially when you're not used to it and you don't have that athletic, I guess, experience to kind of flip-flop your body around in different patterns. They like to use these ones here because they can apply the pressure, and they can do it seated. They don't have to like lie on the floor and be all over the place. It's also a little bit easier to use at work and in the office. You can grab this, bring this with you. Again, it's probably just over a foot long. Some of them are a little bit longer. You don't need anything longer than this, and you can use it at work and just work out those areas. So, having said that, now that we've gone over all three of these, let's go over the principles on how to use them. The rule I'd like to kind of lead everyone into, that's the most important, is you want to try to replicate what a massage therapist is doing. You don't want to try to run through it a lot. I see that a lot of times. People just fly through it, and it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it probably could be helping you, but the benefits are probably not as great as going slowly. The rule I like to use that I heard recently, which I thought is fantastic, is 1 inch per second. Using that 1 inch per second rule, and you're going to make sure that you're finding the areas that are really, they're problematic areas, because you're going to have spent enough time going over them that you'll know exactly where they are. B, you're going to be able to then spend more time working on those problematic areas so that you can work them out, because they're going to need the most attention. It's also a lot easier to control than it is to fly through it as fast as you can. When you're using the stick, it's a lot obviously when you're using the stick, it's a lot easier to kind of work out those areas. Same thing with the lacrosse ball or the baseball. You're not going to really be flying through it, because this is more for trigger points, specific points to work out. So it's more related to the 1 second per inch rule, or the 1 inch per second rule is mostly for the foam roller, which is still going to be the most predominant one you're going to be seeing and using. The second rule that's really important, that I think might be the most important rule, is consistency. Foam rolling is not something you can do once and then never do it again. Because it's not as powerful and it's not as effective as massage work, you have to do it on a regular basis for the benefits to actually be noticeable. This is not something that you just do before you go to the gym, before you do a workout. This is something you do on a regular basis. And I would highly recommend that you treat this as a vitamin, not as medicine. What I mean by that is, use it before the issue comes up. Don't wait until you have knee pain, calf pain, back pain, shoulder pain to start using these tools. Start using them before, so they never occur in the first place, or we can kind of prevent them from occurring to some extent, or we can reduce their severity and give our massage therapists a chance to be very effective on that first session and not be dealing with something that's like crazily inflamed. The final thing that I will tell you is spend time, and I mentioned this just a bit before, spend most of the time on those problematic areas. If you're stripped for time, I know that a lot of people will use this time factor, so I'm going to tell you right now, if you do not have as much time, and it's not very practical to spend 20-30 minutes at the start of your day and do this, I would tell you spend 5 minutes. At least spend the first day you do it, spend 20 minutes trying to figure out where the problem areas are. Be very aware of where they are. And then from there, spend the first 5 minutes of your day working out those problematic areas. because those are going to be the areas that are leading to the most pain. So if you wear high heels a lot, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. If you're wearing high heels a lot, work at the calf out early in the morning. Make sure you do it before you go to work. Work out the foot, work out the calf. Make sure you do it before you go to work so that you give yourself a chance to last the entire day. If you have time, all the better. Use it as often as you can. Use it throughout the day. I would definitely say use it in the morning. It's the best thing to really open up the body, and you can really work through and get creative. Start spending time searching for different areas that you feel a little bit of pain. Make sure you're not rolling over a bone. Make sure you're rolling over a muscle. If you're looking for the most, let's say, I would say probably the most useful thing to do when you're trying to use these tools, besides those three major points, is try to find a way to use them throughout the day. What I mean by that is take them with you to work if you can. If you've got the chance to grab one of these stick rollers, they travel really well. If not, one of these lacrosse balls, they'll help you out throughout your day. So if you're driving, if you're in the car, you feel like you got a knot in your shoulder, you can work it out. If you're at work and you feel like you got something in the low back, you can work it out, calves, ankles, whatever. Use them on a regular basis. If you're wondering about specific muscles to target, this is a great time for you to ask me. Send me an email, send me a message, comments, do something, try to get my attention, get me to post something that you want to see, and I'll take care of that for you ASAP. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for listening again. Excited to talk to you guys again on episode 3. Until then, guys, keep building that foundation.